I'm the current owner of Solaris Developmental Group, known for the popular A-Core game. I'd like to firstly thank Astra for his dedication towards this convention and giving me the opportunity to present today. So, really appreciate Astra for that. And if we all just give him a round of applause or whatever you want, that'd be great. I'd also like to congratulate Astral for the hard work that they've been putting into this group, which I recommend you all look at too. And just to get it out of the way, the main talking points of this presentation will be the brief history of SDG, the anticipated 0.6 update, and the future of the group. Alrighty, let's get started with the brief history of Solaris Developmental Group, starting at my promotion to owner. Our current game, known as a core game, like I mentioned earlier, there have been roughly 5 main editions of the game, starting at version 0.05 and all the way to our current version 0.55C+, which was recently developed by our new developers and led by SAF. For most of my ownership, we have been on version 0.55 with 0.55C+ just having released, which I'll thank our amazing dev team for, like I mentioned. However, I won't forget to mention the founder and one who started it all, Justo. Justo, as many of you may know, is an amazing individual who set the foundations for this group and mostly brought it to where it is today, which most of us will never forget. I joined this group in July 2022, roughly a little bit past the pandemic, when I learned about the game through a friend playing it. I quickly rose through the ranks, becoming a moderator within roughly 3 months and becoming community manager quite a bit after. It's when I got a little bit more serious and really tried to do things that make a difference and actually help out in the community. And the day it all changed was November 7th, 2023, when Justo announced his resignation and handed the group down to me. It was on the rougher side of things at first, I will admit, but eventually things were improved. I won't dive into the specifics as that will take forever, but as a team with all the staff members, we were able to take a dying community and revive it. To be frank, there was a rough start developmental wise, as I personally had no experience in development, and that was one of the biggest issues. While it took us a lot, trial and error, we were able to bring back speeds to what I'd call satisfactory. I will admit, I still do have a lot of learning, and the group has a lot to get better with, but I think that's how it is for all groups. As we have just inducted 3 new very talented developers to our team, we are speeding up things even more, which I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about. I'm unsure if these individuals are out in the crowd or listening, but to end on the note of SDG's history, I want to say thank you to both Justo and SPC, who was a community manager before me. He now works at Quantum Science, since they truly have shaped me as a leader. Without them, this group would not be where it is today. But not only that, they taught me a lot of things I know, and they were the people I looked up to and strived to be in the sense of leadership. So again, thank you, Justo and SPC, for shaping both this group and me. With that out of the way, I want to take a little bit to discuss 0.6, which is our anticipated update that I know a lot of people are wanting to know about. I am proud to say that while we do have a lot of progress on 0.6 completed, it's still not quite near completion. The game has gone through several iterations with many things being redone to meet our levels of quality. 0.6 started out as what was supposed to be a smaller scale update to 0.5 like you would have saw with the updates before. However, 0.6 has truly turned into more of a different game. While it's still certainly based off our current game we have right now, you'll see that the looks have changed and there's an addition of many new features, which I'll talk about later. 0.6 just recently restarted developmental progress. We've had that on pause for a little bit. Our initial focus was to finish up our final update to 0.5, known as 0.55C+, that I was talking about earlier, and to finish the Astral booth, which we got done if you didn't see that. Now that we have that stuff out of the way, we are finally going to go back to developing 0.6, which will almost certainly be the next update you see for our game outside of bug fixes and maybe a small holiday update. 0.6 is a major upgrade to 0.5 in many ways. Even as you see in the presentation photo by itself, it looks a lot more detailed, and we try and keep our game as detailed as possible. We really believe in that. I think this update will amaze our current player base while also bringing others that maybe weren't too intrigued by our more simplistic design. I'm also happy to announce that zero point 0.6 will be coming in several languages. I'm wanting to bring zero point 0.6 to all possible audiences. This means manually translating the text in a variety of languages. Alongside that, atop of the few languages, we'll be getting voice actors to do voice acting for the sounds that have speaking in them, so it will be in their language. And a lot of the I want to answer the question a lot of you might be wondering, which is when will zero point 0.6 come out? To that, my answer remains the same as normal. I'm not too sure. Everyone on our team does have an estimate, but there is no release date, and there likely won't ever be a release date. I personally do not believe in release dates unless I am certain I can guarantee it. At this time, I cannot guarantee zero point 0.6 is released a month from now or a million years from now. The truth is, there are too many variables that come into play with this over such long periods of time, and I think other groups have you've witnessed this in other game studios or even a movie that's been delayed due to unseen circumstances. What I can say is that zero point 0.6 is being worked on, and we are doing our best to assure a quality update. The future of our group after zero point 0.6 has remained a big discussion, even with current staff members. At the moment, zero point 0.6 is our latest planned version, and we don't have any plans for new things outside of updating zero point 0.6. Like I mentioned before, zero point 0.6 really has become a new game, and there wouldn't be a point in releasing another game right after we release a big game like that. We hope to do content updates on zero point 0.6 for quite a while before we work on something new, so we really want to just use that game up and not just completely throw it out the window and make another one right after. Some of you might also know our old game we were working on called Solaris Corporation Research Complex, also known as SCRC. There are also no plans to currently revive that, as we don't believe that game would necessarily fit our group or live up to the standards that we want to uphold as developers. So overall, zero point 0.6 is the last planned creation at the moment, but don't worry, there is still definitely plenty of life left in us. With all of this being said, I would like to ask our audience if they have any questions, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability in the Q&A channel. Awesome. Just give me a second to look over there. And if you could bring PO up. Oh, there you are. Alrighty. Do you have any other plans for any other projects in the future? You used to have SCRC, but discontinued it so suddenly. So that's more of a that was due to issues with developers, and that this was a little bit before my time. It was with Justo. There was issues. It was led by someone named Aki, so they might be from the community, but we don't have any plans to revive that. It's definitely something we've thought about though, but we don't think we're going to do that. After zero point 0.6 releases, is ACG finally not going to be a meltdown simulator? Um, Not really. I mean, we try to keep our game as best as possible. If you mean, is it more than just like thing exploding? Then yeah, we totally are. We're adding additions such as like shift system. We're adding tasks around the facility. We're really trying to saturate the environment with actual things to do more than just something exploding. Next question. Sorry, someone say something? Okay. Um, what happened to SCRC? Was it discontinued because zero point 0.6 need to be focused on? Like I said, it was more just internal things with Aki being gone and everything, and that was the main builder of that game. You're looking at our lore picture. Is it the fact that Robert is a god as a joke or actual fact? That is a joke. Our lore department, which I recently started up, has been making a lot. They're actually compiling a huge, I think it was like 100 pages of a reactor handbook that they're making right now, and we actually recently updated this one too. So I have to show you guys that one. But no, the Robert part is just a joke. Would zero point 0.6 support new things like user device wise, or does 0.5 already have that too? Can you rephrase the question? If you mean like, are we going to support mobile and VR? Yeah, that's totally something I'm willing to do if that's what you're meaning. I'm big on accessibility and everyone being able to play the game that they want, and I don't want to have issues just because you're on mobile. In fact, most of the player base is on mobile, so it's important that we cater to those needs. Will there be NPCs in 0.6 and will they have voice actors? We actually did consider NPCs, but we're unsure if we're gonna do that or not. If they have voice actors, that's totally I don't think we went that far in the discussion, but we were thinking about NPCs. It's not confirmed yet though.
If
Also
anything,
look
uh,
what's that?
if anything, they will maybe be added in the future, but definitely not in the current 0.6 because like we have a lot of other stuff planned and like it would probably go in the way and delay the update even more.
Yeah. Uh the graphics needed to run 0.6, it's actually we're keeping it pretty optimized. I play my game on a MacBook and I run it perfectly fine on max graphics. So I think someone's tested it on a Chromebook and even then they're able to play it pretty well. So no, it's not going to be anything huge. And then again, you can lower the graphics and everything on the actual Roblox settings and get that. How long did the development take for the update? If you're talking about 0.55C plus, that I don't know, Pia, what was that, like 2-ish months?
A little bit more, but like the actual develop, like we literally finished the update in like 3 days right before release. We like spent day, night. We just like pulled all-nighters just to get the stupid update done, but it was worth it in the end because
Yeah,
like, yeah,
it definitely boosted
it paid off.
yeah. Alrighty, let me look at the next question. What was the original inspiration for ACG? That's I'm not the original owner, it's Justo. I don't think he ever really had
Uh,
one, I think.
there
Well,
was an
Was
inspiration for the power lasers. You know, when they are
yeah, but
starting, they like start
it was
flashing and stuff.
mostly okay.
UPC.
May I talk a bit
VVD would know.
on
Yeah.
that
Yes.
fact?
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure there was no inspiration source. It was just it was just a silly thing to prove someone that he can make a good game, and
Yeah.
this is what we end up with.
Yeah, he
But
was
yeah,
he was
the
told by someone.
biggest,
Oh, sorry, you go.
yeah, the biggest inspiration. Well, it's actually quite a funny story with the power lasers. They are actually from a very, very old model. They've been improved over time, and now this is what we have.
We are running
So
on
yeah,
the
it's to summarize, it basically started with someone telling Justo he can't build. It's that simple.
yeah. All right, well, let's get to the next question. Is 0.6 likely to release in the next millennium? Okay. Yes, it is. I once again I have no release dates, but I'll at least give you an estimate of it releasing in the next millennium, yes.
Yeah,
Um
this is
how harsh is maintenance? If you mean the maintenance phase of like the reactor, PO is making that, so he'd have to speak on that.
Hold on, what? I need to
I
check this
they're
quick.
wanting to know how harsh maintenance, like the phase is when you get in the reactor mode, I think.
Well, it will definitely be not like QServe because we are not trying to replicate QServe here. We are trying to actually do something unique. But it will be like, I don't know, like you will engage maintenance and then you will have to like go into the chamber and let's say that the power lasers themselves have like their own room at the back of the chamber where you can like refuel them one by one. And the stabilization lasers have like their own rooms where you put the different fuel mixture into them.
Yeah. All
So
right.
yeah, and then you will have to like test the components and stuff to make sure everything is working fine. If the reactor got significant damage from like power surges or something like that, you will have to fix that. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Let's look at the next question. Oh, lost it. What is the plans after 0.6 for ACG? Will there be a 0.7? Honestly,
Oh.
it's just so far into the future that we don't know because I want to keep 0.6 and give it a ton of content updates, really let it thrive. I don't want to just make it and then start building a new game and give you guys something that doesn't have updates, because that's one of the issues. We really want to focus on one thing at a time. How much of the update do we oh, sorry, skip that question. What do you think is the most impressive thing to come 0.6? To me personally, I really think it's the attention to detail and just the new look. That's one of the things that I love about our current game. It's just the visual effects and everything are amazing, but this new update really just pushes it to its limits and it just looks so great thanks to our developers. How much of the update have you already made? I mean, we make new plans often, so it's hard to say. We have stuff done. I'm not gonna like tell you we're not doing anything. We have stuff done, but it's just so much that I can't really give you an exact percentage or something. Is there any PC requirements for the new update? I mean, no, not. I mean, it's not like Steam. If you can run Roblox, you can run the game. But I'd recommend. I mean, a Chromebook might not run it the best, but you can definitely play the game on an average computer or phone or whatever. Would this include console support too, like Xbox and PS4, PS5? Yeah, I want to do that as well. So, especially for a game like ours, I mean, there's definitely games where it's harder to make that console support, but because ours is more simpler and isn't so much
Well,
moving around and everything, we should get
it
console support.
but well, it will definitely be like much easier to implement console support than implementing stuff on like VR or some stuff like that because like
Yeah, that's a whole different story. Even then,
for
emulating
Xbox you
VR
just
requires
yeah
two
for
mouses.
Xbox you just need to like change the keybinds and like stuff and like that's literally it. That's all you need to do.
At
And like
least,
Yeah.
so you wanna know what's good? Roblox have recently released emulating a controller, so like it should be easier for us to be able to implement the console support.
yeah.
Alrighty. Isn't SCRC the same thing as 0.6? No, they are two
No.
separate games, two separate ideas, so yeah.
But
Um,
there was one thing basically.
yeah,
SCRC actually used to be the first 0.6. Like
yeah,
this was actually this used to be the actual 0.6 until it basically became its own game because of how
Yeah,
different it used to be. And 0.6 was restarted from scratch and SCRC became its own game.
yeah. As someone who wants to join the staff team, we just recently closed like all our applications. I'd recommend you stay in, look for in a few months. I don't think there'll be any open soon. Will there
Yeah, that's
ever be
like
game passes?
the worst timing you can ask that.
Yeah. Will there ever be game passes for events? No. I'm not really big into dev products to just like trigger events, so no, we won't
yeah, we're
really be.
not Q-Surf. Well,
Yeah.
not
Or-
any. Yeah, that was probably a bad idea to mention that, but like, yeah, we want free to play to be much better compared to, well, it should be as good as pay to win. So like,
mm,
yeah,
Yeah, I do want to try and make a little bit more money just so our devs can get reward and stuff, but that won't come in forms of like events. It'll be more game passes and things like that. Are the fan shafts still in 0.6? I yes, I think so. Are there consequences for begging for 0.6? No. There's not really. Just don't spam it. It just
this is
gets
really
annoying.
a meme at this point.
Why a ball core and power lasers? I think most games have power lasers, don't they? I
I
don't
mean,
really.
that's how it started off after all.
Yeah.
In fact, it actually started as a neon ball. And then
Yeah.
eventually we just upgraded it to particles.
Yeah. All right.
And now
There's-
it actually now the reactor has like actual logic. It went from a stupid bulker to like something with actual logic.
yeah. If there's voice acting, can you hire Gianni? I'm not taking direct applications here, but I am looking for voice actors in the future. So if you really want to, you can reach out to me and I'll keep you in mind. Um, is the entire back end of the game being redone from the ground up again? But Pio would have to. There's talk about that.
Yeah, There's usually all that. I mean, mostly the code base is actually working, but like it is pretty hard to maintain. So
Yeah, the
mm,
issue we came across is regen, so we can't regenerate the game correctly without teleporting people into a new server and then teleporting them back unless we want to redo the code base and stuff,
yeah, that's the biggest burden we have to witness so far.
The
which
worst
we
part is I've already known about this issue for months, but like it was way too late. It was already all converted to this new framework. And the worst
we
thing is the developer that like made this framework is fired now, so like there is no one to
Yeah,
tell us how to meant to be, you know, built on.
so we're kind of on our own.
We are just gonna make a new framework. Maybe not even a framework, just a free runner script code base.
yeah.
If you're
What is
gonna
the philosophy behind ACG catering to young players and more simple mechanics? Why not age up the target audience by including more complex mechanics, but not to the point of RBWR or QSurf complexity? Honestly, it's more just because when you establish something and you already have that audience, it's a lot easier to keep an audience rather than shift. We are totally um aiming up at them, but we still want to keep our foundations and everything. Like we don't want to just ditch our current fan base, and that'd be terrible. But yeah, we are adding some more complex things to help cater to those needs, but overall the simple mechanics will stay. We might actually tease something with more complex stuff. So look for that. Are you sure you want to add console support because console players can't listen? I mean, that kind of goes back to the talk of private servers, so we always offer those for free. And if console players or mobile players or whatever don't want to deal with the other person, those are always free. In fact, most of our players play on private servers. When you'll look at the players online, it'll be like 100, and you'll look at the servers and you only see like 20 players in, and just be everyone else in the private server.
Well, technically about this chat stuff, you can't just modify it to make it so it actually does appear on the console, but like,
But
you know, chatting using a gamepad is probably like, or a joystick is probably like the worst thing you can
Yeah,
use
it's a
to try and
nightmare.
chat. Yeah, so I don't think that will
Maybe
be
that's why they
properly
didn't
working.
actually bother with that.
Yeah, I mean, just connect the keyboard to your Xbox and it will just give you chat access. I don't know.
yeah. All right. Will there ever be a developer intern program? Blah, blah, blah. For Solaris, I mean, we occasionally have contractor things, but we aren't really doing a developer intern program. But knowing how great this community is, there's definitely people out there that would totally help you and be willing to teach you. Um, if console support was to get added, could there be a separate Xbox game? No, we wouldn't do that. It'd be in the same thing.
That sounds
But
really not. It
yeah,
just doesn't sound right.
yeah.
Why would you just take the game that works perfectly fine on that? Well, why would you move a game that works perfectly fine on the console to a different game? It just, yeah, this seems like pointless in my opinion. It's
I
best
think
to just add a support on top of that, and then it will work fine.
I think your examples of like Phantom Force and stuff, I mean, those are first person shooters, so that's more of just like an advantage type thing, playing on a computer versus console, and they're just such different games. So I mean, it's a different comparison.
Yeah, if
Um, how
yeah,
does the
if who will go first?
I'll go. How does the 0.6 reactor generate electricity? That's more kind of just decided by our lore department. I mean, I really love them. I hire them. They're two really great guys. They do a good job. It's Galactum and Greatest Comrade, and
Yeah,
they're the
you
ones
forgot
that
Neil.
Oh yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are responsible for what does reactor does what.
Yeah. But they haven't decided that yet. No, I
Hmm.
might go in the reaction manual. Who knows? What made Justo, you, or any other owner make ACG what inspired it? Um,
This was
if you,
already answered.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, I'll do it quick. I mean,
mhm.
just for me personally, I look at other games. I always try and see what improves. I have I have a personal vision for the game, and I try and duplicate myself onto others and get what I want out of that. It not sounds bad, but like I bring my vision to the others, and we kind of just build upon it from there, and we just plan together and get that stuff. Let's see. Can you ensure that there won't be any more major organizational changes, ownership that would disrupt development in the long term, considering your scale of your developmental team? Yeah. So I've owned the group for a little bit, or no, actually getting close to 2 years now. I think. Don't quote me on that. And I plan on staying, so I don't think there will be any more major organizational changes. So at the moment, no, I don't think there's going to be any issues with that. I plan to stay and help the group as much as I can. Will the 0.6 events be revamped? The current 0.6 meltdown, the dev place seems somewhat empty compared to the chaotic energy in the 0.55C plus when a meltdown's going on. I mean, the
Yes.
meltdown's not done, and
Yeah, I mean, the one that I've shown multiple times on dev streams and other events, or like during the release of 0.55C plus, that's like a base meltdown that I made just to like see what I can do with 0.6. And the actual meltdown that's gonna be in 0.6 is currently planned by Matrix, who is sitting to my right in table 6. I don't know if he's there, but yeah. And basically I'm like rescripting the entire thing to make it more interesting, have more stuff, make it more dynamic, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, we're kind of aim for making events more dynamic, not very scripted.
yeah. I'm gonna try and get the last few minutes done. We have 3 minutes left, so I'll try and rapid fire these questions. Yeah, yeah, I got you. Don't worry. Will most events that we've seen in 0.5, 0.55C, and other versions be re-implemented in a certain way to 0.6, Project Boron, etc.? It really depends on the event. We are trying to get as much as that changed, but we also want to add new things, and we don't just want to like copy and paste the game. But yeah, we totally do want to bring in some of that stuff.
From my perspective, it kind of boils down to if the creator of such event wants to do that. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna answer the last questions. That'll be all. What do you seek in developers? Me personally, I don't look as much in skill as I look in personal qualities of human being. You can be the greatest developer ever, but if you can't talk with a human being or uphold that type of stuff, then you really can't work in a team. So I really seek teamwork, creativity, all that type of stuff because, like I said before, you might be the best developer in the world, and that just won't matter much if you can't work in a team. So that's a big thing for me. All right. I think that's gonna finish off our Q&A. I wanna thank Astro, the group, and Astra in specific for this great opportunity.
Okay. May I say something last?
Sure. You have a minute.
So it's been nice to meet everyone, and yeah, it definitely wasn't an easy year, and I hopefully everyone will spend it nice with their families, and yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you guys for giving us this opportunity on this keynote, and to end it all, I'm just gonna donate 1,000 Robux. That's it.
Yep. Thank you. I will hand it back to Astra now. Thank you.
I would also like to thank you all for letting us have this opportunity to talk about our current progress on development and other stuff.